Dysfunction. You just landed on the most important video of your life.
ED miracles saved my marriage. It's as simple as that.
I was rock hard, like I was a teenager again. I couldn't believe it.
Here's the latest from my urologist. Your erectile dysfunction appears to be completely reversed. No further treatment is needed.
Why are the pharmaceutical companies scared to death of this video? Why is there so much buzz about this video on social media that our servers are about to explode? Simple. This video does something that's never been done before. It exposes the true cause of erectile dysfunction, found by 2 Nobel Prize winners, and gives you the natural treatment that ends ED for good, no matter what your age, and all without costing you a penny. If that sounds good to you, buckle up, because your erectile dysfunction is about to be eradicated in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Have you ever lay in your bed and watched your wife fast asleep, moaning and groaning, sweating and squirming, and then, as she's barely able to contain herself, screams out the name of a man, and you realize the name isn't yours? I'm Tom Bradford, and that woman was my wife of 22 years, Denise. I was the guy next to her, feeling like my abdomen had just gone through a meat grinder, and that happened exactly a year and a half ago. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what led to my wife doing that, how it was completely my fault, and how your wife could be having the very same dreams right now, if you don't make some changes fast. You're about to find out exactly what those changes are and how to make them happen quickly and easily in the next 24 hours. And all I ask in return is 2 things. Number 1, you give me your complete and undivided attention, and number 2, you make an honest commitment to watch this until it's completely over. Because those who do that are the only ones who get these results. This video is short, and I'll be blunt. The information is controversial, 100% accurate, but it's controversial because the powers that be don't want you to hear what you're about to hear. Because it's a knife in the heart of some of their best-selling products, worth billions to their bottom line. Our website is safely up right now, but we don't know for how long. So take this warning seriously. Shut down all other tabs. Turn your phone off. Open a notepad and get ready to take notes, because if you're suffering from ED, you'll never watch a video more important than this in your lifetime. There's nothing that crushes your self-esteem more than ED. I've been there, and I feel for you. But I'm also excited for you, because soon you'll not only know the true cause, you will know how to treat your ED directly from the source. Your wife is soon to become the happiest woman of all her friends, because if you watch this video and do what it says, in 24 hours, I promise you, here and now, you will have in your pants, or maybe out of your pants, a completely full, bulging, pulsating erection standing at attention that will make any woman's eyes light up with desire and anticipation. And you will do it without any pills, without any pumps, without any injections, without any surgeries, without exercises. Some call this natural Viagra, because it truly will be the next big thing on the market over the coming year. And I want you to know, even though this solution is new on the market, you're no guinea pig. Before we open this website, we've been busy behind the scenes testing our formula around the clock, and in the process, created over 10,469 success stories. The success stories were just pouring in so fast from men, wives, and girlfriends, all feeling the effects from age 20 to age 90. We saw so many lives changed, so many marriages saved. We knew it was time for this to go public. So, without further delay, let's talk about your erection. Well, that's pretty awkward. Let's start by talking about my erection first. Going through grade school, erections were my worst enemy. I couldn't stop them. In the shower, in the middle of class, in a restaurant whenever the waitress came around to take the order. Before getting up from a chair, I usually had to wait 2 minutes thinking about the Mets and channeling the Holy Ghost just so it would just go down. That was age 8. Fast forward to me at age 47. The same penis, but a very different story. Married happily, and yet erections hardly ever happen anymore. I noticed my erections were just getting a little softer than they used to be. Didn't think much of it. I was still in the game. Until one night, it was time to perform with Denise, and I panicked. It was just too soft to do anything with. What the hell? This can't be happening. We waited, and we tried everything while we waited, and I mean everything. And then, 45 minutes later, we gave up, and we realized it wasn't going to happen. I went to sleep feeling a little like the Pop Warner quarterback whose mom just bursts onto the field between a play to fix his shoulder pads. A humiliation, a disgrace. I felt I didn't even deserve to call myself a man, because a man is someone who can please a woman, which means a man is someone whose penis actually works. I was up all night, and she wasn't sleeping much either. We spoke a bit around 3 a.m. and decided that it could just be an isolated incident. We'll wait and see if it blows over. But it didn't blow over. It happened again the very next night. And I knew with certainty that if this went on, it was going to spell the end of our marriage. Why? Well, this is a bit personal, but as you know, all women need sex. But for my wife, it's a little different. It's not just a need she can ignore for a year or two. It's her day-to-day coping mechanism. Everyone has a coping mechanism, a way to relieve the stress of the day so you can get through it. For some, it's smoking. For some, it's shopping. For some, it's just talking on the phone. But for her, it was sex. It was her main way of coping and staying relaxed. And for that reason, we had a lot of it, and I was good at it. And that's how our marriage worked. And now, as much as she loved me, and I knew she did, every night that went by that I couldn't satisfy that need, she started losing her cool. She was losing her ability to cope. I could see her mind racing each night, not knowing what to do with herself. And I really felt bad for her on this particular night when her sexual frustration was totally obvious. But I wasn't expecting it to end quite like this. She's clearly in a dream state having a sexual fantasy. I can tell by her movements and her breathing and her, well, panting. She's getting more and more into it, which I must admit I found extremely hot. And then her mouth opens and she lets out a cry that pierced through the night. "Oh, Mark!" And I'm like, whoa, my name's not Mark. It took me a minute to even process this. That's some other guy she's fantasizing about. Who the hell is Mark? Was that somebody at work? Well, I wasn't sure completely, but I knew that whoever Mark was, he could probably get it up. Unlike me. My heart felt like it had gone through a magic bullet blender. I was paralyzed, staring up at the ceiling for hours, and I started questioning everything, even my very own identity. Do I even have any right to be married to her if I can't satisfy her? Doesn't she deserve better than to live with someone sexually handicapped like me? Why should she suffer her whole life because I can't perform the way every other normal man can? And then it happened again, on another night. The next morning, I could barely look at her. I tried to play it cool, but she could see something was wrong, and she had no idea what it was. "Guess what?" she says, trying to break the ice. "I found that hat you were looking for." "Oh, thanks." And I mutter under my breath, like that matters. I would never say insulting things like that, but I was burning with rage inside. She says, "What?" I said, "I just said it doesn't matter." "What do you mean it doesn't matter? I spent a lot of time looking for that, and you've been asking me where it was for days," she yells. I'm completely boiling over inside at this point, and somebody is about to get burned. "Damn it, Denise," I said as I slammed my fist on the table, knocking a fork to the ground. "This isn't about the hat. That doesn't matter. Do you know what you've been doing each night when you're sleeping?" "What?" she said, completely clueless. I said, "You've been fantasizing about having sex with some other guy named Mark. And loud, too. Really loud." Her face turned bright red. And suddenly, the floor pattern became really interesting to her. Then she just went back to the scrambled eggs, turning her back on me. She didn't speak, and I didn't speak, for what seemed like 10 minutes. We were just there, like strangers. And then, at a certain point, she runs over to me, tears all over her face, falls into my arms, crying. And the sight of her, I'm crying instantly too. She didn't say much. She just said, "I would never cheat on you, Tom." My mind is just all effed up right now, from everything. I knew exactly what everything was, and I didn't quite know where these words came from. But it occurred to me to say, "It's okay. It's my fault, honey, not yours. I haven't done a damn thing to fix this, and I'm gonna fix this, Denise. I'm gonna fix it if it's the last thing I do." She said okay, and we clenched our hands together, both wishing things were different. And that was all that was said that day. If you've had this experience yourself, please know it's not that they don't love you. That doesn't change. They just have biological needs. Just like a human needs food, they need to be sexually satisfied, or they leave you, literally or emotionally. They'll find what they need with someone else or something else, and you can't let that happen. You can't force a woman to suffocate, and you can't let your marriage fall apart. But it will if you do nothing, and doing nothing isn't really an option, because when a bodybuilder stops working out, the muscles atrophy and disappear. Well, the penis is no different. The more you don't use it, the more you lose it. That was the predicament I faced at that time. I knew I had to take massive action to do something about this. I knew a cure had to be out there, and I was going to find it. My urologist wasn't much help. For me, he had Viagra and Cialis, and even a suppository you could stick up there to cause a temporary erection. Even if these worked, which they don't for everyone, what would that do for the mood? What would sex be like when you have to plan it 20 minutes in advance? And how turned on will I feel putting something the wrong direction up my urethra before sex? It all seemed wrong to me. I didn't want a Band-Aid. I wanted to be rid of this. I wanted to undo whatever caused my ED. I wanted my old erection back, the way it used to be. I decided I would do whatever it took to get that. So I hit the books to find out what was really going on. I spent hours flipping through scientific journals, looking at the latest research, and the first thing I realized is, when it comes to what causes ED, there's no mystery there. It's been well established for anyone who cares to look it up, that ED is about one thing. It's all about the capillaries, the little tiny blood vessels running through your penis. In an ED person, the capillaries get clogged. It's clogged by a certain kind of plaque, which is actually made out of cholesterol. When your sink is clogged, the water can't get down the drain, and when your capillaries are clogged, blood can't get in for the same reason. And when blood can't get in, you stay limp. And when I learned this, I was pretty surprised. I started asking, if this is such basic knowledge, why is Viagra the go-to treatment for ED? Viagra is a temporary fix that has nothing to do with this blockage. It has nothing to do with unclogging anything. Saying Viagra is a treatment for ED, this is like saying vodka is a treatment for happiness. Maybe for an hour, but as soon as it wears off, those problems are usually worse. So why do they keep giving us Viagra? Answer, $5.4 billion. So let me ask you, what if we could do something about the actual problem, about the actual clogging? I started to dream about what a real solution would look like. I mean, if it's like a drain, I figured, that moment when you plunge that toilet and everything actually goes down in one shot, that feeling of triumph you get after all your hard work. What if there was a way to do that with ED? My focus from that point was on one thing, the coveted unclogging. I asked, how do you get rid of that damn plaque? I heard a thing called chelation therapy can do this, but then I heard one of the side effects of chelation therapy is death, and that was a side effect I just wasn't ready for. On YouTube, a lot of people were telling me to eat a lot of bananas and watermelon for this problem. So I did. It was delicious, but it did nothing for my erection. So I went a little deeper, and I asked, if we're going to unclog something, maybe we should know more about the stuff that's doing the clogging. What is this clog material? We said it was cholesterol, but that's not the whole truth. Here's the big reveal. Where was this cholesterol coming from? At first, I thought it was from my diet, but I was wrong. It turns out almost all of the cholesterol in the capillaries is made by your own body. Why was my body making so much cholesterol? Then something dawned on me. It was my dad. He had early-stage heart disease, and that's exactly what heart disease is, high cholesterol in the blood. I started to read up on that connection and find out that ED is an early warning sign of heart disease. In fact, 93% of people who experienced heart attacks had ED first. Bingo. There was a strong connection between heart disease and erectile dysfunction. I was worried, but this research led me to something I never expected. There were 2 Nobel Prizes given out this past decade for research making this very connection I was making. These 2 laureates found that weakened capillaries were the key issues. The body, in an effort to reverse the damage, actually produces cholesterol to patch, or said another way, clog the capillaries. And suddenly, the blood trying to get in is met with a locked and barricaded door and sent away. Now, I didn't really know where this research was leading me until I remembered my father had started taking something recently that he was going nuts over. He said by taking this one thing, it allowed him to go off all his heart medications within about 6 months. We all threw a big party for him when his doctor told him his arteries were clear. So I said to myself, whatever he was doing was lowering his cholesterol levels. Maybe that could help me unclog. So I asked him what he was taking. He explained to me. The secret was in a certain shake he drank every day, which had several special ingredients. He said the more he drank of it, the more his cholesterol levels would drop, until he achieved completely normal cholesterol readings and no symptoms of heart disease to be found. I didn't want to tell him why I needed it, so I just asked point blank, Dad, do you think someone without heart disease could have some of that shake? Would it be safe? He said, yeah. Like I tell your mother, everyone should be drinking this. He showed me the recipe. We made it together, and I drank it. First off, I was taken aback. I was expecting some kind of medicinal shake to taste like broccoli juice. This actually tasted really, really good, but nothing happened after I drank it. So I sat down with my dad and watched the ball game. And then, in the second quarter, about 20 minutes in, something happened. I can't describe it perfectly. I felt a sign of life. I felt like little tinglers throughout my penis, and it was expanding. Blood was heading that direction, trying to get in, I could tell. I got a bit firmer, not hard, but a little more firm. And that was enough to put a big smile on my face, because I hadn't felt anything move down there in a long time. It appeared I had awoken the beast, but the clogging was definitely still there. I didn't tell Denise about what happened because I didn't want to get her hopes up. I didn't really know where all this experimentation was taking me, but I was definitely onto something. I said to myself, what we need is a shake like that. That's not only for heart disease, but a shake that specifically targets ED. His shake had all sorts of interesting compounds. I needed whatever ingredient were in my dad's shake, but I needed more, plus stuff that specifically targeted this clogging. So I was back at the library to find out what else out there was proven to deal specifically with ED. The general search at the front of the library for ingredients for ED cure turned up nothing. So I asked a librarian if any studies had been done. She said not on the main register, but she started walking down an aisle in the library. You shouldn't give up, because there are a number of unpublished studies, and they're cataloged here. She points me to a huge setup of gray-bound books, picks up one, flips a few pages for a while, and then says, "Is this what you're looking for?" Wow, it was exactly what I was looking for. A study entitled Treatment of Erectile Dysfunction with Naturally Occurring Compounds. Does it get any better? It was a study done at a top university in 2003. I was glued to the page. This study followed 300 ED sufferers over the course of 2 years. In this study, they were testing over 1,000 different foods, herbs, supplements, and amino acids, some of them extremely rare. Interestingly, as more and more combinations were tried over the course of the study, the symptoms of all the subjects improved steadily. There were many substances here I guarantee no one watching this had ever heard of. It was fascinating. This study was very extensive and spanned many countries in its search for the ingredients that treated ED. And guess what? By the end of the study, when the proper combinations were discovered, erectile dysfunction was eliminated 92.5% of all cases within just 3 months. I ran back to the librarian's desk, a little out of breath, and said, "Is this for real? A cure to erectile dysfunction? Why wasn't this in the papers?" She said, "That's a good question." Then she gets to typing on her computer, and I hear her say, "Yes, I suspected that." "Suspected what?" I said. She turns the computer around so I can see it, and she says, "Look who the largest corporate donor to the university is. Pfizer." Surprise, surprise, I thought to myself. That's the maker of Viagra. We both knew it immediately. There was no way the university would let this see the light of day. They'd lose funding for everything else they had. So I asked her, why do they even do these studies if they don't see the light of day? She said, "Well, these studies are waiting for people like yourself to bring them to light, dear." With those words, I felt my life's purpose unfolding in front of my eyes. Well, I don't have to tell you what I did next. I went out and gathered every one of those winning ingredients from that study and began to make the world's most powerful super shake tailor-made for ED sufferers. The perfect cocktail, made only with the ingredients proven to work practically every time. Once I had them all in place, I got out my trusty blender, and my heart started to beat faster and faster as I put in one powerful ingredient after another. I whipped it up, then proceeded to down the entire thing in a few gulps. It tasted good, damn good. But then, I didn't really know what to do. Felt like a space monkey here, no clue as to what I might have just done to myself. Well, I found out pretty fast. It wasn't more than about 2 minutes that I felt a certain feeling of relaxation down there, like something was loosening. It actually felt just like a drain ready to unclog, and water is beginning to find its way through. I can feel blood rushing to fill the gaps that were opening, and those gaps got bigger and bigger, and then I started getting bigger and bigger, until I unzip, look down, to see nothing short of an eager, rock-hard erection bigger than I've seen in many, many years. Next thing I do, grab the phone, of course, speed dial Denise. She's at work. I said, "Honey, you gotta come home. There's something we gotta talk about." "Tom, I'm in the middle of work. What's this about?" She seemed like she was having a rough day. "Just come. Do you trust me?" Long pause. And then she says, "Yes, Tom, I do." When she arrived, the house was dark. The lights were dimmed, and there were candles all over the house forming a path to the bedroom. With Marvin Gaye playing in the background, I flick on the light, and there I am on the bed on my back, in a revealing position. Her eyes light up. And this being a PG video, the scene cuts here. But 3 hours later, we were eating Chinese and smoking, when she says, "Tom, I'm not totally convinced you're cured. I think we need to do another test." I passed that test with flying colors, and the next one, too. We could have gone on all night if not for the fact that we had just completely passed out on the couch, sleeping soundly with the biggest smiles we've ever had on our face. I don't think I've ever lasted that long and that many times. When she came to work the next day, she said people just looked at her and were like, "What is it about you? You just look so relaxed, almost like you're glowing." "I don't know," she said. "Just had a good workout, I guess." A good workout indeed. Now, I know this sounds cliche for these types of products, but it's the truth. Our marriage is stronger than it was before, maybe stronger than ever was, because our time apart just made that coming together so much more powerful. And I've never had any sign of ED return since I started drinking that shake daily. If I notice a little softening, I remind myself I must have not taken the shakes today. So I drink one down, and within minutes, I'm back in the game like a champion. I've gotten to the root of the problem. I know how to unclog the sink, and for that reason, it won't ever get clogged again. My success with this shake was awesome, but when I started sharing it with others, all I can say is, wow. People from all walks of life, people with marriages on the rocks, marriages on the brink, young people, old people, disabled people, athletes, and everything in between. We're seeing almost miraculous results with all of them, and in just minutes. Let's hear a few of their comments.
ED miracles saved my marriage. It's as simple as that. It is hands down the best purchase I have ever made.
I've been struggling with impotency for years. My wife and I had just about given up on ever having sex again. And within days, yes, days after drinking the ED Miracle Shake, I was rock hard. Like I was a teenager again. I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. It truly is a miracle.
Here's the latest from my urologist. Your erectile dysfunction appears to be completely reversed. No further treatment is needed. And he can't understand how such a radical change can happen so quickly, but it did. And for some odd reason, I am having nothing but luck with the ladies lately, and it feels really good to be desired again.
Listen, folks, since those testimonials, our product has only gotten better. We have perfected the recipe, and then we went further and built an entire home study course that explains absolutely everything about the ED shake treatment process. The course will guide you gently and smoothly through the regimen so you know exactly what to do from the moment you get the product until you're having the best sex of your life for the rest of your life. Nothing is left to your imagination. No detail is left out, and you'll have a shake schedule that'll automate this entire process so you never even need to think about it. It's paint by numbers simple. You can contact us at any hour if you have a question, but in our experience, no one ever has any. In the course, you'll also be given a wealth of understanding into the problem of ED that most urologists don't even know. You'll also be given a treasure trove of additional tips, tricks, and tactics that we've found will accelerate your results many times over and make sure those results last longer and longer. We'll show you how to control your unwanted erections and slow down the process of it's becoming too much for you or your wife. And so much more, we can't even mention it all here. We've been working on this system for over 6 months, just making the system more and more powerful and more user-friendly. And we've treated over 10,000 ED patients with this program before we even considered releasing it. But the product is now here, and the product is called the ED Miracle. And once you get it, tell your woman to put on her seatbelt, because unlike any other product, the ED Miracle works on a 3-pronged approach. Number 1, to increase blood flow in the penis. Number 2, to strengthen the blood vessels. Number 3, to clean and rejuvenate the blood itself. There is no treatment available that works on all 3. They barely address one. And of course, we don't provide band-aids like the other guys. We treat the root of the problem, so this problem never crops up again, ever. So there you go. You're covered from every angle. So what now? Now it's time to just let this program set your sex life on fire, skyrocket your confidence, and see your wife or girlfriend trying to catch her breath because of what you're now capable of doing in the bedroom. Do you want that? Or do you want to have to worry about them leaving? Women do leave, remember that. 70% of all divorces are initiated by the woman, and most women are unsatisfied in the bedroom. You've heard of survival of the fittest? Well, here's the secret. When it comes to women, it's survival of the firmest. And you really have to ask yourself, if you don't do something right now, will you survive? What do you want to be hearing tomorrow night? Don't you want to hear your wife giving the biggest sigh of relief of her life because a saga of pain and suffering has just ended? Or do you want to hear her walking out of the bedroom in a huff of sexual frustration? Just imagine what this shake will mean for your future, while everyone else you know has a sex life that drops more and more the older they both get. Imagine having passionate sex that kicks with life all through your 80s. Because as long as there's still any blood in your body, the ED Miracle just works. As I said, the ED Miracle course answers every question you might have. We know that because we've run tens of thousands of students through the system and built this course around what they told us they wanted. However, if you should have a question, we have an eager and knowledgeable support staff who are standing by 24/7 to answer it. We're going to talk about the price for the course now. But first, we've got to face some cold, hard facts. Erectile dysfunction costs something more than your money. It costs you your happiness. It costs you your ego. And eventually, it'll cost you your marriage. And when you lose that marriage, who really wants to get into another one with you? This is really your whole life on the line. But ED can cost you thousands in hard-earned money as well. Viagra hurts the pocketbook. So do repeated, failed attempts to find more unnatural Band-Aid treatments that don't cure the problem from the source. All this can bleed you dry. So how much should it cost you to eliminate all of this? To have your life back and your money back? By all logic, it should cost quite a lot. Consider also the expense, time, and research that went into this product, and you'll begin to realize it should cost even more than $1,000. But luckily for you, we're not Big Pharma. We're not enslaved to any investors, and we're not even in it for the money. Fact is, this gift doesn't belong to us. It just came through us. It belongs to you, the one who is actually suffering, which is why the ED Miracle won't even cost you $1,000. We could do that and sleep soundly tonight, but we're still not doing it. It won't be $1,000. It will not be $750, not even $500 either. What will it be? Just enough to cover our costs. The only real solution for ED in history is only a $37 refundable deposit. The $37 is just a nominal payment that will help us keep this website up. It's completely voluntary. You'll decide if you want to pay for it after you've been through the program. There's absolutely no pressure from us whatsoever to pay. We'll return your deposit with a smile anytime over the next 60 days when you say the word. Not surprisingly, we have very few asking for it back. After all, we're reversing on average 248 people of ED per day right now. Those people are usually trying to find out how to pay more just to express their gratitude. And here's the guarantee on this product. It's very simple. Your erectile dysfunction will be vastly improved or your money back, and a completely full erection guaranteed in just days. And not just an erection as strong and hard as you have ever had, and usually a lot better than that. The erection of your teenage years on a mature man's body. Every woman's dream. Take it from our clients. Nothing could be sexier for your wife or girlfriend. We guarantee that the firmness, strength, and length of your member will actually shock you within just 20 minutes. You have a full 60 days to decide if you want your money back. That's plenty, but you'll likely know an hour after your first drink. And if you're on the fence at this point, I'm going to push you right over it, because I'm going to give you 3 of our most popular and valuable products 100% free with your order. The first is called Bonus Number 1, Go Forever, which in short teaches you how to go forever in bed. Premature ejaculation simply doesn't exist once you have the info in this course. It's a simple 7-day process. It doesn't require any painful penis exercises, breathing, or anything weird like that. But it will allow you to have complete control of your ejaculation, so you come exactly when you want to come and not a moment sooner. And then, once you've got an erection and the stamina, you got to start using it more often, which is why we're including bonus number 2, Text Your Way to Sex. This is exactly what it sounds like. It's a way to use simple text messages to get any woman hot and desperately needing you between the sheets. You won't need to say a word. She'll jump you, trust me. And yes, text messages can do this. No more awkward proposals and rejections. It's been proven hundreds of thousands of times over. This system is copy, paste, and bang simple. Bonus number 3, Sexual Superfoods. Did you know that slight additions to your diet can make you better in bed? It's true. There are a few things at your local grocery store that you can pick up and start eating more of, and you will begin noticing pretty significant changes in your stamina, your energy levels, and even your length. Let's talk value. Go Forever sells online every day for $197. Text Your Way to Sex sells online every day for $97. Sexual Superfoods sells every day online for $47. So you're getting in total $341 worth of products. And you can keep these products even if you refund the ED Miracle. So, do you really want to walk away from the first real treatment to ED ever released in history when this may be your only chance to get it? I advise that before you make that decision, you ask yourself a few questions. Your woman, what do you think she deserves? Does she deserve a man who isn't able to meet her deepest needs? Does she deserve a man with pea-sized confidence in the bedroom? Does she deserve a life of sexual frustration, left wondering if she will ever be truly satisfied? Forced to look around to places everywhere but you to find that satisfaction? Solving all that, isn't that worth fighting for? Trust me, living free of ED is going to make you feel like you've never felt before. I just had a student yesterday tell me that for the first time, he was able to get his wife back who had already left him. You can imagine how he felt. Seeing the smile on her face when she sees what's going on down there will put a smile on yours, a smile that won't want to go away. You have a chance at all of it right now. So why are you still listening to me? There's an order button below. Hit the button, fill out the form on the next page, and end your ED. Is there any reason not to? What will it take? Will you wait until she cheats on you? Will you wait until your penis loses more of its muscular fibers so it becomes almost impossible to ever get up again? Will you wait until your marriage crumbles before your very eyes? Ask yourself, if there's even a 1% chance that this could prevent that, wouldn't it be worth it? Don't you at least deserve a chance at a real solution instead of just Band-Aids? Let me remind you, I'm not asking for a penny for this. You will decide if you want to pay for it after you've completed the program. You'll either be happy and excited to pay for it, or you won't pay for it at all. So the question is, how much would you pay if you knew it could solve your ED forever? I'm sure it's a lot more than $37. It's probably in the millions. So why are we still here talking? Hit the button below and get started. What are you going to do? Put that $37 towards baseball tickets to a game you won't even think about a week later? Or a pair of shoes that will go out of style in a year? Or are you going to put it towards something that will make every day of your life infinitely better? Make your decision. Make it well. Hit the button below. Then fill out the form on the next page. It's safe. It's secure. And when you do it, instantly, the historic ED miracle will be in your hands. Hit the button now. You have nothing to lose and a new life to gain. I want you to know something. The pharmaceutical companies are hoping you don't buy this. They want you to be enslaved to them, their drugs, injections, and suppositories. Don't let them win. Fight back and join us beating ED once and for all. And it starts with you. Hit the button below now. Your chance to order will end as soon as this video completes, which will happen in seconds. Still here? Maybe you've got some questions that need answering. Let's get to a few of the most common ones. Question number 1. What exactly am I buying? Is it a book? Is it being shipped to me? This is an online training course. It takes place 100% on our website in our members-only area. You are welcome to print out the materials if you'd like to hold them in your hands. Having a course you can consume online has a few advantages over a traditional book, which is why we do it. It saves you money on shipping and handling, and it also gives you the chance to start benefiting immediately after you order. Question number 2. I'm over 70. Will this really fix my ED? Yes. We have hundreds of case studies showing full treatment of ED and restoration of completely normal blood flow in the penis at every age, including senior citizens. This is because the basic cause is the same for all ages, clogged capillaries. So if you can solve one, you can solve them all. Question number 3. I have a busy schedule. Will this take much of my time? No. The entire program will take approximately 4 to 6 minutes per day.